So what I want to share with you is a process that you can use in your restaurants at a large scale to get everyone in the hiring process on the same page. Its power is in its simplicity, and it's basically using a hiring matrix. What you'll do is first identify what are the most important qualities that are needed for any position. You have different positions at your restaurants. At Edible Arrangements, we had customer service people, production people making the arrangements, delivery drivers, and managers. I didn't need my customer service people to have great driving records. I didn't need my production people to be friendly. That's not the work they were doing. So for each one of those positions, there were different qualities and characteristics that I associated with the best employees I ever had. So for every one of your positions, you're identifying what are the most important qualities to test for. And then in the interview, all of your focus, all of your questions, focus on those characteristics. So I want to walk you through it. Imagine that for a moment, you own a senior in-home care franchise. So what you do is you dispatch caregivers to go into the homes of elderly people who need assistance. So you need one care worker, and you've put the ads out, that sort of thing, and you've sort of pre-qualified people over the phone, and you've narrowed it down to two possible candidates, of which you're only going to hire one, Caroline and Kathy. So Caroline, her interview is scheduled for 10 a.m. She shows up at 9:40. When you go outside the hallway to welcome her, she stands up with a bright smile, and she gives you a firm but not painful handshake. You invite her into the office, and she sits down, and she sits up straight, and she notices that on your desk you have a mug that says Duke University. So she shares a very charming story about how her brother was part of a March Madness pool, and he made all the selections by flipping a coin, ended up winning like $500. It's a very funny story, but you're also noticing how friendly she is, how articulate, and how charming she is. You're really enjoying her. She reminds you of your favorite cousin. So you ask more questions, and you'll learn that she has a lot of experience in caregiving. Over the last 5 years, she's worked for 3 of your competitors, but she keeps hearing about how great your company is, and she's ready to make a move to somewhere wonderful. She's heard that your place is that wonderful. She can start right away. She's available any hour, any day, 7 days a week. And as you're having this conversation with her, you're feeling such relief because you finally found someone who, like you click with, who's going to fill the position and is going to relieve you of the stress. At 2 o'clock, you have an interview scheduled with Kathy. 1:40, you get a phone call. It's Kathy calling from her cell phone. There's been an accident on the interstate. Her GPS says she's running 20 minutes late. She apologizes profusely and says, if you would like, she's willing to answer some questions right now on the phone, or you can reschedule. And you see that you have some time, so you tell her, don't worry about it, just drive safely and get there when you can get there. But you're pretty annoyed. I mean, yeah, stuff happens, but I'm sorry, this is a job interview. This is the first time she's making an impression. She should have left much earlier, so you're pretty annoyed. She actually only shows up 10 minutes late. When you go out to shake her hand, she kind of has a hard time making eye contact, and her handshake is a little fishy, a little soft. You invite her to sit, and she kind of sits hunched over, kind of going like this, rubbing in. She's just waiting for you to ask questions. So what you find out about her is she has no experience as a professional caregiver, but she spent the last 6 years working at a preschool. As a teacher at the same school at that time. You also learn that the way she found out about you is her father is going through dementia right now. So 1 or 2 times a week, she and her brother have hired people from your company to come and take care of him. That's how she knows how great your company is. But Tuesdays and Thursday nights, she has to look out for him, so she won't be available. She also mentions that as much as she's ready to come work for you, she needs to give her current employer 3 weeks' notice, which is not ideal. You need someone right now, and you need someone who's available any hour of the day because you never know when the care is needed. So these are some points against her. You ask her if she has any questions, and she said, yeah. She says, can you tell me about some of the people you care for and what it's like for all of you? So you explain it to her, and she's listening and nodding her head, asking a few follow-up questions. She says, wow, sounds like you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. You appreciate that she made that observation because, yeah, you do. So you thank her for coming in, and as she shakes her hand with a little more confidence, she says, thank you again, and again, I'm so sorry for being late. I know your time is very valuable. So with that, she walks off, and now you go back to your office, and you're ready to give Caroline a call because it was such an easy decision. But then you pause, and you think about all the people you've hired in the past who seemed great, but ultimately turned out not to be. So you decide to use the hiring matrix described in great detail in a book by a brilliant author. The book is called Stop the Shift Show. And you decide to use this process to evaluate your employees. So you determine that these are the most important characteristics for caregivers. But of all of them, empathy is huge because you're dealing with the elderly people, but also their adult children, and you need someone who really has lots of empathy. That characteristic is so important, you're going to multiply all scores by 2. And you're going to rank each candidate for each characteristic on a scale of 0 to 5. So for responsibility, you appreciated that Caroline came early, but it bothers you that she's had 3 different jobs in 5 years. What's going on there? So you decided to play it safe to give her a 3. While you appreciated that Kathy did call to say she's running late, that is not cool that she showed up that late. So you're also going to give her a 3. Availability. This is easy. Caroline, she can start right now. She's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She's an easy 5. But not Kathy. Kathy wants to wait 3 weeks, and she can't do Tuesdays and Thursday nights. So she gets a 3. But then you imagine her working for you and wanting to quit, and her giving you the courtesy of 3 weeks' notice. That's actually pretty cool. It's a sign of responsibility. So she still gets a 3 for availability, but you're going to up her responsibility to a 4, because she's really showing that. Empathy. While Caroline was nice, you realize she did most of the talking, didn't really ask too many questions. It's not that she's not empathetic, but you're not really sure. So you decide to play it safe, you give her a 3, that doubles to 6. Well, then you think about Caroline. Caroline asked a lot of questions. She acknowledged that your time is valuable. She acknowledged you have a lot of weight on your shoulders. And because her father's going through Alzheimer's, she's the adult kid taking care, she really can understand what he's going through and speak to the experience of adult kids. She has total empathy. So she gets a 5, which you're going to multiply twice to get a 10. They both seem very compassionate. You're going to give them both a 5. Caroline, she has lots of experience. She gets a 5. Kathy, not as much. But her experience as a preschool teacher certainly has some carryover possibilities there. And she's been looking out for her dad. So you're going to give her a 4. What you didn't ask is, do you like them? Are they charming? Does your gut tell you that they're good? Do you want to go out and get a beer with them? Are they attractive? Do they remind you of someone? No, you're focusing, and the managers you've hired who are part of the process are also focusing on the things that matter. And when you do, you see that statistically, Kathy is the better choice. You wouldn't want to hang out with her, and you don't have to hire her, but you certainly better give her some good consideration. And it doesn't mean you rule out Caroline. Maybe you give her a call, or maybe you call her previous employers to find out what's with the job hopping. This is how we keep our biases in check. This is how we make sure that everybody in the hiring process is focusing on the things that matter.